everybody, my name is Kyle. Welcome to another video and the start of another new series. This time it's going to be one of my favorite series. It's going to run on this channel till draft day. I'm going to start by now announcing that I'm going to try my best to put out 3 videos a week now instead of 1 or 2. I'm going to try my best to put out 3 videos, if not more, a week. Okay, and you may be wondering, you saw my introduction. I like it now. I did actually do something to it. It's now I didn't make the template. I found it on YouTube. Really simple. I'm not the best editor in the world or at making things, so I just kind of go with it. Whatever happens, happens. But you may be wondering what an in-depth look is. Yes, it is kind of self-explanatory, but pretty much what this is you know how my mock drafts are extraordinarily long. They're a lot longer than everybody else's, due to the fact that I explain a lot about the prospects in that video, but these are going to be even more in depth about the prospect. This is just going to be focusing on a single person, and it's going to have a whole video dedicated to it. I don't know how long it's going to be yet, but I just know it's going to be an entire video dedicated to just a single prospect. Okay, so the first prospect that you saw in the introduction, hopefully, we're going to be taking a look today at Johnny Manziel, the quarterback for the Texas A&M Aggies. Johnny Manziel is, in my opinion, he's the most exciting player in this draft. I mean, some people might say Clowney, but besides Clowney, who else can you make a fair argument to that is more exciting, at least in college, than Johnny Football? Alright, so let's take a look at Johnny Football. Alright, so the first thing that jumps out at you when you see Johnny Football is his athleticism. So if that's the first thing that jumps out at you, why not take a look at it? Now look. Quick note, this video will not include any other videos except for me talking, but in the future, if someone could teach me, or if I could figure out myself how to get like little videos in there, but I need to be able to talk over them, and I can't as of right now. I don't know how to do that at all. My program I use is Windows Live Movie Maker. Pretty basic, so someone needs to explain to me how to do that, if I can even do that. But anyway, okay, so the first thing that jumps out at you with Manziel is his athleticism, most notably his speed. Manziel is probably the fastest quarterback to come out of the draft. I think he's gonna run faster than RG3. If he doesn't, it'll be pretty much the same thing. Pretty much the same. They'll both run 4.40s or sub 4.4 for Manziel, possibly. Look, people look at Manziel and they think of his size and think of him being small, and they think that that is going to hinder him from being a starting quarterback in the NFL. But have you seen like before with Russell Wilson and Drew Brees? I'll bring it up constantly, and people have heard the Russell Wilson thing over and over and over again. And some may say, well, that's one guy. Well, Drew Brees has been doing it well before Russell Wilson has. So there's that too. It's been working. So it works for a pocket passer and it works for a mobile quarterback. You don't have to be mobile to be small, but it definitely helps you out a lot. And Manziel is definitely mobile. Okay, so I've decided I'm going to organize this. I have now, if you see me looking up here, it's because I'm going to take these down for right now. I made post-it notes, so I'm going to put them right here for Manziel. So I'm going to put this back where it belongs. Hold on, I'm sorry. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the pros first and then the cons. Let me move this. Sorry, just setting myself up. Should have done this before the video, because that makes the most sense. You usually set it before the video, but then there's me. So, okay, so we have the pros. We have his speed and mobility are clearly a pro. The way he uses them to get out of trouble is incredible, and he does have this thing I'm going to write here in the pros. Magic. Johnny Manziel is magical. You see, if he did one of the plays that he does, like once, people would know him for making this tremendous play. And to be honest with you, I think that people would appreciate it more if he only did it like one time. But he's doing it game after game after game after game, making incredible plays, and people just come to think that this is, mundane. This is ordinary. This is ordinary for Johnny Manziel to make miracles because he's been doing it so often. But it's a big part of his game, and it's mainly because of the fact that he uses his ability to run as a weapon and not just as his escape little method. He uses it as a weapon, and he is very decisive. As another thing on my pros is that he is decisive with the football. I should have wrote, he's decisive with the football in his hands. Because he's decisive, he knows where he wants to go with the ball at all times, and if it's not there, he takes off and runs. So he's decisive. Yes, I have my cons that he doesn't go through all of his progressions always, but that's because of his decisiveness. He tends to predetermine his reads, but with most quarterbacks that's a problem. But with Johnny Manziel, the fact that he predetermines his read, and if that read isn't open, he's going to use his legs to scramble and get 10 to 15 yards. So, going through your progressions for a pocket passer who doesn't have the mobility is a necessary thing. But with a guy like Johnny Manziel, it's maybe not as necessary because if the throw he wants isn't open, he'll go and get 10, 15 yards and pick up the first down with his legs. At the next level, they're going to have a spy on Manziel at all times, or he's going to scramble for 10 to 15 yards. So it's going to affect the way defenses play against him. That decisiveness is one of the things that makes Manziel the best quarterback in this draft. Okay, another part of Manziel's game that is just ridiculous. His arm strength. Like, he has the best arm in this draft. He does. I think Bridgewater's the only one that's close. But Manziel has ridiculous arm strength. If you've ever watched the YouTube video where Manziel goes on the top of Kyle Field, the last row, and throws on a line the football into the hoop by the field goal. That right there just showed his arm strength. But then you gotta watch it on tape, obviously. And you know the GIF that I always put for Manziel in my mock drafts? The amount of arm strength to get that ball out there is ridiculous. His momentum's taking him backwards. He ran backwards like 15 yards, and he just heaved it with pure arm strength, and then used a little bit of Manziel magic and got the ball to his receiver. But that was a ridiculous throw because of his arm strength. His arm strength alone. He doesn't even need to put his body into it. The only question with this, the way Manziel does his arm strength, is how long can he last in the league with that kind of, ability that he kind of overuses it. He kind of overuses the fact that his arm is so strong that he maybe sometimes relies on it too much, which will result in, fatigue at the next level because you can't be heaving it with just your arm. You need to put some of your body into it. Manziel looks more like a skateboarder than a football player. He's not very big. Like, not just his size, he's not very, big build. So, he's 20, he has time to fill out, but, for Manziel, for being a franchise quarterback, I think that's perfectly fine. His arm strength is ridiculous. Okay, now, still going down my pros list. I already talked about the decisiveness with the football, so this is the last thing on my pros list. His accuracy. It's very underrated, surprisingly, for a guy that is so highly touted and so, I can't get this word, I just want to, it's annoying me. He's in the spotlight at all times. Under national spotlight, Johnny Manziel, everything he does is watched. And then there's underrated parts of his game, like his accuracy. I don't see anybody in this draft more accurate with the football than Johnny Manziel. Have you ever seen Manziel miss a guy on a post route? Not in the tape I watched. I didn't see him miss anything. Not in the games I've seen. Have you ever seen Manziel miss a guy on a slant route, put the ball over his head? No. Intermediate routes, see him throw the ball out of bounds, trying to hit a receiver? No. Manziel is very accurate with the football. But Does he make mistakes? Yes. No quarterback is perfect. There's no quarterback in the NFL. There's no quarterback in college football. There's no quarterback in the world. There never will be a quarterback in the world that's perfect with the football. I'm saying as in general, he doesn't consistently sail the ball over receivers' head or underthrow them. He never underthrows them. Or just miss guys entirely. The only time he'll miss a guy entirely is if their route communication is off, or the route is run wrong, or some miscommunication happened. He doesn't miss the guys purely on his accuracy. It doesn't happen. So that part right there is you give him arm strength. You give any quarterback arm strength and accuracy, and with Manziel's talent on both of those, that alone for a quarterback is something that I would take a chance on just with that. Then you add in Manziel's magic, his decisiveness with the football, his athleticism, his speed, his, magic touch. I already said that, but I gotta say it twice because it's that important. And all those things, and you say, what the heck? Manziel, take a chance on him. If you take a chance on a guy who's produced in college and who's been a national icon, freshman Heisman Trophy winner, and literally the lifeblood of the Texas A&M Aggies. They weren't even in SEC before Manziel came along. If you take a chance on him and he doesn't work out, I wouldn't feel bad about myself. If I was a GM and I picked Johnny Manziel with the first overall pick and he didn't pan out, I wouldn't be angry at myself and be like, oh, I should have taken somebody else. I would be annoyed if I didn't take Johnny Manziel and he turns out to be a franchise quarterback like everybody's doubting he will be, but I think he will be one. Okay, so as much as I want to say Johnny Manziel is a perfect quarterback, in truth, he's not. He's not a perfect quarterback. Some of his cons are this. Even though he has a scrambling ability, he tends to scramble when he doesn't need to. This is part of this decisiveness with the football. His decisiveness with the football affects everything else Johnny Manziel does. So, look, sometimes he scrambles when he doesn't need to. He will kind of stare down a receiver, and if he doesn't get open, he'll run. He'll just run, and he doesn't have his head up the field always when he runs. I wrote he needs to keep his eyes up the field, but then I realized that's just the way I mean that is in the sense that he scrambles when he doesn't need to. But when he's scrambling, like a guy like Russell Wilson, his head is up the field. He's looking down the field. He's looking for the ball. He's running, but he's looking for somebody open. But he's looking for somebody open, but he's not going to throw the ball. He's already decided he's going to run. That's pretty much what Manziel does. A guy like RG3 did the same thing. He does the same thing. That's what RG3 needs to improve on right now, is he needs to pick his head up. A guy like Russell Wilson, the reason he's so successful with his size is because when he scrambles, he's still realizing that he's a quarterback, not a running back. He keeps his head upfield, and if there is absolutely nothing there, then he'll run. But if there's somebody open, he throws the ball first. I think Manziel obviously has, in my opinion, more speed and athleticism, like talent-wise, than Russell Wilson does. So when Manziel takes off with his speed he has, if he learns to protect himself and knows he can pick up that first down, I want Manziel running and picking him up. Even though there's going to be some coaches out there and there's some GMs, and I'm not going to tell them they're wrong for saying this because they're completely right, but this is my opinion, that are going to say, well, he had a wide receiver wide open here, 15, 20 yards down the field. But then you have the issues of, well, what if he misses them? What if the receiver drops the ball? What if there's an interception? There's more risk involved. If I'm Johnny Manziel, if I throw that ball 20 yards down the field instead of running and picking up that 15 yards and getting the first down, or the 10 yards and getting the first down. So while he does scramble too much and he needs to keep his head up field more, it's not hindering his play at the current moment. Alright, I briefly talked about this before, how he doesn't go through his progressions, and that's a negative in the eyes of a scout, is a quarterback doesn't go through his progressions, and he just kind of stares down and predetermines reads. That could be a negative, but with a guy like Johnny Football, like I said, that isn't, because I like his decisiveness with the football. That's probably the thing, in my mind, that puts him head over heels a better than everybody else in terms of quarterbacks, and I think in terms of everybody else. But I need to touch up on a quick note here. People say if you're not 100% sure that this guy is your franchise quarterback, don't take him in the top 5 or top 10. And so those people who sometimes put Manziel in as a number 1, they say they're dumb because they don't believe themselves that Manziel's their guy. For me, my mock drafts are justified with having Manziel as high as I do because I firmly believe that Manziel is far and away the best quarterback in this draft. You heard it here. I could go out here and be completely wrong. He could be a complete bust. It could happen. But right now, I'm going to invest in Johnny Manziel. I'd rather put my, chips on the line with Manziel here, some guy who's played great in college, than put my, longevity or like respect on even on this, like my respect here, in a guy like Blake Bortles. I'd rather have it in Manziel. If Manziel messes up, then half the world can be like, oh, we all thought Manziel was gonna be good, so I'm not alone here. But if I'm all like, Blake Bortles is the next Peyton Manning or Ben Roethlisberger, and he turns out to be a complete bust, I'm gonna be an idiot. So I'd rather put my chips in the hand of the guy who's produced at the collegiate level. Alright. Going through again, there's 2 more negatives I have, I believe. Yeah, this is a big one. This is one that he's gonna definitely need to improve on at the next level if he wants to succeed. He needs to have better pocket presence. He gets way too much he gets way too much criticism. He does not get enough recognition for his pocket presence. It's very underrated. He is nowhere near as bad in the pocket as people think he is, but he isn't good in the pocket yet. He needs to be he needs to look at a guy like Drew Brees and figure out how Drew Brees sits in the pocket, being that size, and still making good throws, because Drew Brees, we all know, is not a mobile quarterback. But what does he utilize a lot? Screen passes. Well, who does he utilize a lot? Darren Sproles. He utilizes these guys in screen passes because he can't necessarily see over all these defensive tackles, so he always has a flanking guy to the side of him, and that's something that whoever drafts him is going to need to recognize, that they're going to have to throw in some screen passes in order for Manziel to succeed. Therefore, a receiving type running back would be a benefit to your team if you're planning on drafting Johnny Manziel. So pocket presence is definitely a big one that he needs to be coached up and do. But the reason why I don't worry about Johnny Manziel struggling to not be able to develop pocket presence, because freshman year for Manziel, his pocket presence was pretty much non-existent. Sophomore year, you saw Manziel's pocket presence start to come into place, greatly improved. A guy who's improving and not on the downfall is a guy that I want to invest in. I'm going to give you an example with wide receivers. Marquise Lee is a guy on the downfall. Sammy Watkins is a guy on the uprise. Okay, so who do I want to invest in? I'll make it even better. I'll make it even closer so you realize that, because Sammy Watkins is far and away the best receiver in this draft class, I'll go with a Mike Evans is on the uprise more than a guy like Marquise Lee. So I'm going to try Mike Evans before Marquise Lee. So, yeah, his pocket presence is continuously getting better. So I have no reason not to believe that he's not going to be able to do that. Okay. A quick note here. Everybody knocks Manziel's size, so I'm going to put that in the cons, because if I didn't say that, I think everybody would think I'm an idiot and not take me seriously if I said Manziel's size wasn't a flaw. So, I mean, for me, if I was making a pros, cons, and a neutral, not really going to affect him, not going to help him, not going to hurt him, that's where I put his size. Because his style of game, he doesn't need to be 6'6". Just plain and simple. He doesn't need to be 6'6" with the way he plays right now. But this is a big one, and I know I've mentioned it in previous videos before, but Manziel's maturity is what's going to make certain teams not want to draft him. I don't know if that's the Houston Texans. I don't know if whoever's at the top of the draft, because Houston's already made it known that they are willing to trade that pick, which, for me, I'm taking Manziel. But some people, they're looking, some GMs, and I understand this entirely, they're looking for a character feel in their locker room and the type of players that they have around them. To look at Seattle, a bunch of guys that all have this intense personality, and they all have a chip on their shoulder because they feel like they should have been drafted higher than they were. These guys all feel like they have something to prove when they go out there, no matter what. And I hope that stays with Seattle, even after they prove to the world that they won the Super Bowl and that they're the best team in the league. I hope that chip on their shoulder still stays there. I know Richard Sherman will still have it, but I hope everybody else will. So you see in a locker room like Seattle, all these guys have the same character, and they want that, and they're looking for that. And I know that some teams are going to take Manziel right off their board because they know right now he is not going to be what their locker room wants. Mind it, will Manziel grow up? Yes, I think he'll grow up. He's definitely going to grow up. He's definitely going to come into the realization that if he wants his future to be, an NFL quarterback, then he's going to learn to grow up a little bit. I think the combine interviews, I don't know, I'm pretty sure we don't get to see, I actually know we don't get to see those interviews, but what the news will be about those interviews, which is going to be this weekend, or I don't know if you're interviewing when the interviews start, but over the course of the scouting combine, which is coming up this weekend, they're there today. This is going to be a thing that people are going to look for. Is he mature right now? From what I've been seeing him in the news lately, he's not. He's saying it's going to be the worst choice if the Texans don't pick him. Yeah, I heard, that's pretty much what I heard. He wants to be number 1 overall pick. He thinks he's the best player in the draft. He's telling everybody he's going to be exactly 71 inches, which is 6 feet. He's saying all this stuff and getting himself back in the news. And, hold on a minute, I'm sorry. I apologize. Phone. He's saying, he's trying to put all this stuff out here. He's making news that he's not going to throw the combine, which I understand, but he's just making everybody, he's just proving everybody who's saying, Manziel, you're not mature, he's just proving them wrong proving them right as of right now. So, some teams are going to take him right off his board. For me, if I'm a team like the Houston Texans with some veterans in that locker room, I know they have veterans, I know they have a guy like Andre Johnson, I know they have Arian Foster, they got J.J. Watt. He's not veteran, but he's still one of these guys that's on their team that has a lot of, experience, skill. He's a leader. They got Antonio Smith. I truly hope, if Johnny Manziel is drafted to Houston Texans, that Ed Reed is still on their roster. He's not even on their roster right now. That was dumb. That was just purely stupid. Ignore that following statement. But, they do have some veteran presence on that team, especially on the offensive line as well. This team is full of veterans. They have a lot of veterans, and that's going to help Manziel a lot. He's a young guy coming into a group of experienced NFL players. If this is all under the scenario, if he goes to Houston Texans, he's going to be, amongst. He's going to be a little boy against a bunch of men. He's going to be, the youngest guy on the team. These guys are surrounding them, playing the league a lot longer than him, and he's not going to be able to go in there and, act like a kid because they're not going to take it. I know they won't. I really hope they won't, because then they'll teach Manziel to grow up. And, if the Houston Texans don't want to deal with that, then they won't take him there. But I hope it goes to a team that isn't a young team, that's a veteran team, and he learns, how to be a professional. And once he learns how to be a professional, I really think it's a matter of time. He's gonna grow up once the whole draft hype is over, and the whole, college thing, autographs. He's not gonna be as in the spotlight, most likely, as he was in college, because, if he goes to a place like Cleveland, he's definitely not gonna be in a national spotlight, nowhere near as much as he was in college. Now, if he goes to the Jets, then he'll be in the spot. I don't think he'll go to the Jets. I'm just giving you an example. If he goes to a team like the New York Jets, he'll be in the national spotlight all the time. So hopefully he doesn't go to a team that gets too much national exposure. I think the Houston Texans, even though they do get some, aren't nearly as high as other teams are. So I think a smaller market team like the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Cleveland Browns is going to be a good fit for Johnny Manziel. I think he's going to grow up at the next level. And my overall prediction, because this is my in-depth thing, whatever. My overall ranking of Johnny Manziel is he on my big board is number 1. Johnny Football, the quarterback from Texas A&M, is number 1 on my big board. And where I see him going is not out of the top 5. I think a team in the top 5 is going to take him. If it's not a team that's there currently right now, it's a team that'll trade for him. He will be gone after the 5th pick, in my opinion. No doubt, first rounder, best quarterback in this draft. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you liked it. If you do, please leave a like, and again, tweet me. Oh my god, I figured out how to comment thing. I had to use not Google Chrome. I had to use Internet Explorer, so I can reply to your comments. But just follow me on Twitter anyway, because I like that. And even though this video is kind of lengthy for a prospect evaluation, I hope you watched through this whole thing, because you realize that some people have been saying my mocks are a bit of a copy. They're not at all. They're not copies. This is all me. Where do I get, find out about these prospects from? Before the combine, I find out from the same places you guys will. Other mock drafts, NFL Network. I don't even listen to Mel Kiper. I don't even turn on the TV when he talks. I mute it, because the information he's saying is annoying me that he's broadcast to the biggest audience. What? Hold on. Sorry, I don't know what that was. It bothers me that Mel Kiper is the guy that is broadcasted to the biggest audience because he doesn't know what he's talking about half the time. He's going to give you the public happy version of this. I think he has some, he occasionally will have a couple valid points, but for the most part, Mel Kiper's on drugs. Look. There's kind of analysts, and I just want you guys to be aware of this. Some analysts you're going to hear are going to know what they're talking about. And there's other ones that aren't going to know what they're talking about. I'll give you 2 guys that I think are the 2 best. I think Mike Mayock and Daniel Jeremiah are 2 very reliable guys. You can listen to what they're saying. They're going to give you the information you need. And then you can make your own decision on them. I think a guy like Charles Davis and Bucky Brooks, both from NFL Network, I'm not going to say that they don't know what they're talking about, but they don't have the same view as me. I think it was Charles Davis, I believe it was him, that I keep seeing on NFL AM, and he keeps knocking Manziel, and he's knocking all the quarterbacks in this draft, saying none of them are franchise guys. He says he wouldn't take any of them. I think that's a little bit much, that you wouldn't take any of these quarterbacks at all. I think if there's not, come on, Teddy Bridgewater, if you're not going to give me Manziel as a franchise best quarterback in the draft, and you're not going to give me Bortles, and you're not going to give me Carr, what can you knock me down on if I tell you Bridgewater's a franchise quarterback? Tell me right now in the comment section below. If I tell you Teddy Bridgewater is a franchise quarterback, why isn't he? Because he's skinny? Okay, cool. That's great. He's skinny. He's a quarterback. He's a pocket quarterback. I don't need him to be huge. He's not Cam. He played at Louisville. Cool. So did Calvin Pryor. He's telling me he's not a good safety because he played at Louisville. I don't want to hear that nonsense. Okay, so anyway, leave your comments below. Be sure to subscribe, because this is one weird thing. I get a ton of views on my videos in my terms, but I have 20 subscribers. I love you guys. You're my subscribers for sure. But I want more of you guys. I think I have 1 Twitter follower from you guys from YouTube. And I do appreciate all the comments that you guys do. I appreciate every single comment, and don't be mad if I don't agree with you, and don't think that every single thing I say is 100% correct, because again, this is me just going on my computer every day, watching some tape on these guys, and telling you what I think about them. And, you know, I'm 100% positive that I'm going to be completely wrong on some of these prospects, and I'll be right on a few of them. I don't know which ones are gonna be which. And the combine, after the combine, I tend to know a lot more about the prospects, because I actually get to like see them in action, see how big they really are, get their actual numbers down, write down the 40 times, and you know, pretty much it's a good time for me to be able to give you guys a more accurate description of what these guys are. And again, I hope you like this new series. I haven't decided if this is gonna be this will be an every other day thing. This series, it might be, but for now, it'll be out once a week. But I don't think I'm gonna have enough. There's not enough weeks for me. I'm gonna put out at least 2 of these a week, maybe more. But you can definitely expect 2 in-depth looks a week. And the first one here is obviously Johnny Manziel. Go watch my latest mock draft and go watch my top quarterbacks. Leave your opinions there. My newest mock draft is in the process of being made as of right now. Please leave a comment if you want me to continue doing. Yeah, it's my thing. I'm doing multiple rounds. But with the new in-depth prospect things, let me know if you want me to make my mock drafts shorter and just talk about the prospects in here. But I like to give you guys a look at these guys that maybe won't be able to get talked about, because I'm not going to be able to get to make a video about every single prospect. And I know I'm rambling here at the end here, and this video could be a lot shorter, but I just spent 13 minutes trying to end the video. But that's it pretty much. We're just gonna end it here. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe, and peace out. And never forget #Team Garoppolo.